Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And that's it. Those are the two names today.
I was going to say we should have like a long silence. Just like waiting and waiting.
Yeah. Maddie went to sleep less than 6 hours ago, so she may end up joining us, but we're not expecting her to. So
if she needs her sleep, she needs her sleep.
For sure. Sleep is very important.
Yes. Just
like crying. Everyone should cry and sleep sometimes at the same time. Like
yes.
Once a day.
And not necessarily in that order. Maybe you sleep and then you cry.
Yeah. Oh. But today we will be playing part 2 of Lost Odyssey up until we head to the city of New Mara. But before we get to all of that, how was your week, Eli?
It's been all right. Nothing super. Oh wait, no, there was something super eventful. My parents-in-law showed up.
Fun.
That's certainly a word that
that exists.
That exists. Yeah. I haven't spoken to my mother-in-law since 2012.
Yikes.
Or my father-in-law, but I'm less inclined to talk to my father-in-law than my mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Have not spoken to them since 2012, because when, so this was, okay, no, yeah. So it was around the time of my transition, like very early on, mm-hmm. And I switched over my Facebook so that, like, I just got rid of the old one that had my, mm-hmm. my former name on it, and then I set up a new one that said Elias. And then I switched it over so that it said that Ken and Elias were engaged instead of Ken and my previous name. And the first thing that happened was his mother posting in all caps, "No, you are not." So, one thing led to another, and I blocked her from Facebook and haven't spoken to her since.
Yikes.
And, like, there's a lot of details that I won't go into.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna publicly shit talk Ken's mother. I'll do it privately. But they showed up on Friday night, and the first thing that happened after I opened the door was his mother gave me a hug.
Wow.
And I was like, what fucking timeline am I living in? What is going on in this world? And it was not the worst visit I've had with them.
Nice.
And not the worst visit that I could have had with them. So, not to mention, they gave us a hell of a wedding gift. I won't say what it was, but holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You told us in the chat what it was. It's, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know.
Like, I'll play nice.
Yeah. If this is the kind of thing this yields me, then
I should have started being nice eons ago.
Yeah. Well, you know, if they had been nice, then that would
right.
Been...
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah,
that was what happened to me. And now I'm working on a birthday gift for my mom that I'm not going to have done by my mom's 60th birthday. Because it's next Sunday. But, you know, my mom is always late with my birthday gifts, so when I tell her your birthday gift is going to be late, she's going to understand.
Right. One time I should give my parents a present and be like, all right, so this is going to be your Christmas and your birthday and next Christmas. Like, the shit I always had to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But my week was pretty uneventful, except about 2 or 3 days ago, I reached the tipping point on the climax of Trails in the Sky. So then I binged Trails in the Sky, and I would have stayed up to beat it like 2 nights ago. Because like I came home from work and I'm like, I need to know what happens next. But I could tell that like the moment one of them was like, oh, well, we can't go do fight the bad guy yet because of this plot twist. And I'm like, okay, this is going to take a little longer than I thought. So I had to go to sleep with my mind racing and then finish it the next day. But It's really good, and I think you would really like it, Eli. Like,
Awesome.
because it's cozy, like how the series goes is like you're just hanging out with Estelle and Joshua, the two main characters, while they're doing their final exam for mercenary school. They're called bracers, and you just are doing that the whole time, and you meet a cast of crazy characters, and they're all crazy, and they're all awesome, and you love each and every one of them, and it's so cozy, and you're just hanging out. And then in the last chapter, every single person you met has been doing a JRPG the whole time, and like you've just been hanging out, but like everything starts falling into place, and all these things that seemed unrelated were all part of this big thing, and it just cascades, and everything's super duper cool. But the craziest thing about it is it ends on a cliffhanger, but it's not a cliffhanger like, and then they set off on their next journey, like the cliffhanger at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. It like basically the characters are like, yada, 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 we're going to have our happy ending. And then one of them turns to the other one and is like, no, credits. And you're like, wait, what? And it was such a, like, out of nowhere sort of, like, craziness happening in the last 5 seconds that I guarantee you that is the number one reason why we got the rest of the series, because that game took forever to come out, and it was at the tail end of the PSP. So, like, RPGs that came out at the end of the PSP just didn't get translated because the PSP was dying. And so, like, there was no way we were going to get the second one, much less the third one. But the fact that it had that cliffhanger is probably the reason why everyone emailed Xseed every day, like, so when are you doing this? Because we need it. And I applaud this game for having such a crazy cliffhanger, because now we have six of the 9 games that are out so far. So
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. And then, like, for RPG stuff that I think you'll like it is it's turn based, and it's chill, and it has an easy mode. So
nice. I do appreciate easy modes.
Mm-hmm.
Although I forgot I was going to make this joke earlier in regards to the gift I'm making for my mom. I'm a go big and give up kind of guy. So, you know, I'm ambitious, but then I quit.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing that the PC version has that's, like, especially good for you is if you die on a boss, you can click retry, which you can on all of the versions. But on the PC version, every time you click retry, it gets easier. So if you get trapped in a boss fight that you weren't ready for,
LFR. That's awesome.
So if you die in a boss fight that you weren't ready for and you click retry, the next time they'll be a little bit lower level, and then eventually you'll start your turn with a full party heal, like, because, like, each turn does something different is what the battle system is, which is really cool. And so then, like, in Final Fantasy X, you can, like, if I do, like, magic, it'll take 3 turns, but if I attack, it'll only take 1 turn or whatever. And so it, like, changes the order constantly. So you're trying to snipe the good turns away from your the bad guys. So if you die over and over again, the first, like, 3 turns will all be your party members, and all of them will be full heal, critical, like, super awesome turns.
Nice.
Like, it'll stack the deck for you, which is awesome, because on my save file, I had accidentally saved with no healing items in the bottom of a dungeon, and there was a boss rush to get out, and I abused the fact that I could just die 15 times and then wipe the floor with them because I needed it.
Wow. That's awesome.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a strong recommend from me. If you can play the Vita version, it's cool because it's portable, but I think the PC version is still the definitive edition, even though it doesn't have the new art or the new voice acting. I think that the PC version just has a lot more quality of life stuff that makes it a little bit better.
Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, I don't have a Vita, and it's very unlikely that I'll get one, because they're kind of expensive, so. It's raining outside. I'm very happy about that.
About time.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, Maddie's week was busy, and that's why she's not here.
Yes.
So let's talk about Lost Odyssey.
Sure.
Listen to some more music by Nobuo Uematsu, and it'll rock because this music is good in this game.
It is good.
And
well, it's Nobuo Uematsu, so
right. Her stuff is usually really good.
Yeah.
When you get to the Grand Staff construction site, there's a guy there that says that 3 days ago, the energy leakage, the bright stuff that you saw at the top of the mountain, was super insane, and so they put in a control valve to stop it, which is right when the meteor hit, but they hadn't heard of any meteor. When you ask them about it, they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I've just been dealing with a crisis over here," this sort of thing. So you explore the construction site, but there's not really much to do there. So it probably on the Let's Play version you were watching, it probably just showed talking to one guy, and then suddenly you were at the Sea of Baus.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I have not watched the speedrun yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been watching the. I mean, the cutscene one is just like cutscene after cutscene after cutscene.
Yeah.
There's no in betweens or showing what happens with the person who's actually playing.
Yeah. That's why, like, I wish there was a World of Long Plays one, because World of Long Plays does that. If they realize the cutscenes are jarring, they'll put in, like, you walking from point A to point B just to show what it is. But
gotcha.
You make your way to the Sea of Baus, which is super blooming with the next-gen power of the Xbox 360 video game console. And it's really pretty and a fun little dungeon, and there are crabs that crawl along the floor, and I took pictures with most of them because they were so cute, but still not a whole lot of plot. So we finally get to the Grand Staff itself, and it's huge and definitely leaking. Like, there's pipes everywhere with, like, purpley magic shit coming out of them, and so there's the bug monsters that you've been fighting in the dungeon. They're all there, like, eating the magic energy, so a giant centipede one shows up for a boss fight. And it's a really cool boss fight. It keeps summoning the little mobs that will, like the little bugs, and they will charge up to use a magic attack, but then on its turn, it'll just eat their magic to make them not charged, and once its charge meter fills all the way up, it'll unleash a big fuck you move. So it's like I have to get rid of all the mobs and it before the meter fills, which is really cool. You have to do it twice, which is weird. Like, I've beat the first one, and then there's a second one, and I was just like, well, this was hard enough. I don't want to do it 2 times.
No more!
But, so then, after, like, I went to take it down, and the turn that I would have killed it, instead of ending the fight, it faded to black. Like it was a cutscene or something. Like I didn't get any experience from it. I don't know if it was like secretly timed, because there's a lot of things in this game that are secretly timed that we'll get to in a second. But like, I don't know if I just didn't beat it fast enough, but it was very, very weird because I was going to beat it that turn. And so it was like right before Jansen could cast his last magic, it faded to black. And I'm like, well, did I do that? Did it do that?
You were asking yourself the question that only Urkel could ask.
Right?
That's not my joke. That's John Mulaney.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the party splits up to investigate, and to survey the damage, and so you go and you check around on all of the things, and you're like, oh, it looks like it's real bad or whatever. So let's go inside and see if we can shut it down. So then Lieutenant Dokes from Dexter shows up, like. Literally just looks like that actor, like no differences whatsoever.
Hilarious.
But he's in like a Kid Icarus costume. And so he shows up and aims all of his archer's bows at us, and then sends people in to fight us.
I know who you're talking about now. For some reason, his name did not register with me.
Oh yeah, but he's a surprise motherfucker. That guy.
Yes. Yeah.
But So then he sends people on foot to fight us, and it's a kind of hard fight because there's a bunch of dudes, and one of them's a healer, and he's all the way in the back. And so we didn't talk about this last time, but the battle system has a thing where it's called a GC, which is guard counter or guard cockfight. I don't know, but but the GC meter is. So you know how in Final Fantasy, the back row will take less damage than the front row?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same thing, except the front row's defenses are only as strong as their GC meter, which is set to their HP at the beginning. But healing doesn't improve your GC meter. So if your frontline guys get their ass kicked and you bring them back, the backline guys are still vulnerable, which is kind of cool. But that means I have to kill, like, a bunch of people before I start doing any damage to the people on the back row, except of course with magic. So it was just Jansen going after the healer, but then the healer would heal himself because Jansen couldn't DPS fast enough. And it's a really cool system, and it makes me like think a lot, which is cool, but I hated it right here because it was hard. So after the first turn of that fight, Kakanis is Dokes' real name.
Oh, okay. That's why I got confused, because I was like, I know this guy, and I know who he's talking about, and then I don't know.
Yeah. But so Kakanis sends in his archers to shoot at us, but it also hurts their people, which is a little nice, but it's still more damage I have to deal with each turn. So then after you finish the RPG battle, of course, plot battle is not over, and more people show up. And so Chaim tells Jansen to just blow up the magic pipe so that it'll blow up all the other people, but it's way bigger than anticipated. It's like a giant nuke of magic energy. So then we wake up in cages on Crater Island in the Numaran troop camp, and Kakanis comes in and introduces himself, and he says he's the commander of the Numaran forces. He asks us if we are Urin or goats and spies, and we say that we're just travelers. We overhear Kakanis say that the queen is just a figurehead, and Kakanis gets to do what he wants. Jansen is mad because he feels sorry for the queen, so Jansen asks Seth or Chaim if they remember Numara, and Seth says maybe, and Chaim says that he's been having dreams and that they scare him.
Yeah.
And then there's a weird little mini game where you try to catch a mouse and get a item from it, but it's one of those things that's secretly timed where it's like you have to wait a minute in your cell and then the guards will come and get you or whatever. But it frames it as we gotta find a way to escape thing. And so I'm just going around like mashing buttons, and then Jansen finds a mouse, and I'm like, okay, well, what the heck is this? And I looked it up online, and you just get an item if you do it properly. But it was...
I probably should have watched the speedrun, because I was like, what the hell are you supposed to do during this, like, stuck in jail thing? Like, do you just sit there? Is there nothing?
Yeah, and so it was very weird. So then these cranes come down and pick up our cells and drop them on this really, really pretty ship. Like, super pretty. It reminds me of something from, like, the Star Wars prequels. You know how everything was, like, smooth and shiny and stuff? It was real pretty. But poop poop poop. So then in their cell, Kayam dreams about a girl again, and this time he says her name, which is Liram. And he says it out loud while he's sleeping, so Jansen prods about it, and Kayam is obviously in pain, and so Seth tells Jansen to back off, and Jansen takes off the marble and is like, if your dreams are that bad, I might not even have to use this. And they're like, well, what the hell is that? And so we get a flashback to Gongora talking about the marble, and he says that he'll triple Jansen's pay if he has to use the marble. So Jansen then tells the party what it does, because Jansen is a lovable scallywag.
Oh, yes.
And then he uses it in one of my favorite versions of this trope, because it's happened in like every RPG.
Oh, yeah.
But he throws the marble at the guard, and it just explodes in this big purple mist, and the guard wakes up and has complete amnesia, doesn't remember anything.
It's hilarious. This was probably my absolute favorite cutscene this week. Like, this is my memorable moment.
Yeah, it's good. So the guard stands back up, and he has full-on amnesia, doesn't remember a single thing, so Jansen actually talks their way out of the cell, and it's at this point when we realize that Jansen is a little bit of a Han Solo, but, like, we see behind the mask more than Luke and Leia get to see behind Han Solo's mask. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, he has the Han Solo act that he can turn on the charm and use it when he needs to, but we just see the debauchery.
Yeah.
So then we have a stealth sequence to get out of the area, and the penalty for failure is both free but incredibly costly, because if you get caught, you go back to your cell and you do the whole guard cutscene over again.
Oh.
And then you have to walk, and there's a lot of ladders, and ladders take forever. And so it's like, if you make one mistake, which is super easy to do at the last part of it because it's supposed to be hard, it's a increase in difficulty, and if you make a mistake there, you have to go basically back through the whole thing. There's a couple of shortcuts you can make for yourself, like dropping a ladder down, Dark Souls style. But for the most part, you just have to walk all the way back to where you were, and it sucks. But
oh yeah, that sounds awful.
But it's not too hard of a stealth minigame. Like it's not like Wind Waker style. It's not even like Ocarina of Time style. It's like it's what it is it's Ocarina of Time as a kid when you're going to meet Zelda for the first time, where like the guards are just walking, so you just walk in the other direction. And I even as a kid, I never got caught there.
Yeah.
It's like that style, but it's still annoying that it takes so long and you have to watch the cutscene every time.
Yeah, for sure.
But so when you get to the other end of the still sequence, Kayam has a memory come back, and Jansen and Seth ask him about it, and so he just gives them a stoic face, and it just lingers on his face for like 5 seconds, and so they're like, okay, well, fuck you then.
Kayam is not very emotive.
He really is not. He's great. I love him so much. It's so, like, there was a thing I was reading the other day that it was like RPGs either have a spunky tomboy or an emo kid for their main character, and Lost Odyssey definitely leaned on the emo kid, and he's probably the most emo kid out of all of them. Like he just broods. That's all he does. But
yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah. So when they get to this big courtyard thing, they hear a harp, and Jansen is like, oh, that's probably the queen. Kakanis mentioned something about all she does these days is sit in her room and play the harp.
I'm going to go seduce her.
He's like, yeah, she's probably hot, so I'm going to go seduce her. And he runs off. And Seth says that she remembers the queen from her past, and Kayam's like, wait, you mean your past doesn't hurt you? I don't understand. My past is all sad. Why do you have happy memories?
Yeah, that's not possible. Nobody has happy memories.
Yeah, and so she talks about how she met the queen previously and how the queen didn't judge her for being a pirate, and they just talked like old biddies together.
And then they had a lesbian relationship.
Yes,
and
they
it was
did.
Beautiful.
And so Jansen, meanwhile, meets the queen, and he woos her, and it's one of the best scenes in JRPG history. Like,
yeah, it's really, really good.
He's like actually smooth, and like I fall for Jansen a little bit.
Yeah, no, I am 100% in love with both Seth and Jansen after watching their respective cutscenes regarding the Queen.
Yeah.
I want to have them both in my life.
Yes. Yes. Very yes. True words all around. But so he says that she feels lonely and that her harp song is lonely too. And that's how he knew they were like-minded and yada, yada, yada. So then he magics her to sleep, and he just throws her over his shoulder. And I'm like, oh, this is how you woo women, Jansen.
Yeah. It says a lot about you.
Right? So as he's walking away, he knocks over her harp, and it's big and loud, so the guards show up to fight us. But we don't get to fight them. We just get taken away in a cutscene. And so Kayam and Seth get taken away, but Jansen is stuck in the queen's room. And so as they're trying to open the door, they talk about maybe they went out the escape hatch, because they're really bad at saying important villain things out loud, like, oh, the queen's just a figurehead, and oh, you can just escape out of the escape hatch. And so Jansen carries the queen down the escape hatch. There's a small dungeon, which is super scary because you don't have any of your immortals. So you just have Jansen, and he's a weak, shitty boy. And I only got like 1 or 2 fights. I was down there. The world record speedrun got 3 when I was watching it. I'm like, wow. Jesus, that's some bad RNG right there. But
yeah, for real.
So Jansen sets the queen down so he can rest, and she's like, "Oh, I was awake the whole time. I was just testing you." And she's like, "But I can't just leave with you as much as I wish to be free." And so she turns Jansen's legs to stone. So then Kakana shows up and takes him all away to jail. So we get a meanwhile at Gorgana's lair, and he's magicking a monster to life out of like dirt and cackling. So he's obviously the good guy of the piece.
Oh, for sure.
Because playing God while cackling is a thing that heroes always do.
Yes.
So then we get to the free nation state of Numara, and the army is all gathered in the throne room, and the queen walks out in front of them. She gives a speech, and up from the ground on a cool-ass elevator, because you have to do everything extra as soon as you go through the magical industrial revolution. Nobody can just, like, walk through a door anymore.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
They're like, we have magic and technology. Let's do this shit.
If you've got sci-fi technology, you need to flaunt it.
Right. So, you rise up out of the ground, and she says that, yes, they are powerful, but power must coexist with peace. And so, to show that we are willing to be peaceful, she sets us free. And Kakanas is annoyed, but he still respects the queen's wishes. So, although she is a figurehead, she still has power. So, however he's pulling all the strings is like not like she can't do anything to stop it. It's like, oh, she just doesn't care, so I can handle everything. And so Seth accuses Jansen of doing something untoward to the queen since they're so casual, and he just calls her, oh, what the fuck's her name? I didn't write it down. Oh, it's Ming. He just keeps calling her Ming instead of Your Majesty or anything like that. And so Seth is like, oh, you probably tried to bone her. And he's like, I tried to bone everything. So,
yeah, didn't you see him trying to bone Kayam?
Right. So as you leave the throne room, there's a save point, which is where we saved and stopped for the week. This was a gameplay heavy week. We had like 3 dungeons, but it was a plot light week. Last week, Eli watched an hour of cutscenes. This week, he watched 30 minutes.
Yep.
It was half as much stuff happening, but...
It also doesn't help that Maddie's not here, because Maddie always has a lot of things to say about everything that's happening. And I'm just like, yes, this was good. Next cutscene.
Yeah. Same, though. I was just like, yeah, I mean, it's good. I'm liking all of it.
Yeah, I'm like, at some point, I will play this game. I think it's a good thing that I'm taking a break from it, because it sounds like it's really hard and it would frustrate the hell out of me. And I want to, if I'm going to play it, I want to play it at a time where I don't feel obligated to, because if I feel obligated, that's just going to frustrate me more. And I think like that's been my problem with a lot of our more difficult games, like Xenogears, where it's like, I feel like I have to play this, and because I'm struggling with it so much, it's making that frustration that much worse. But
like, excuse me. So like, a WoW raid boss is really hard, but if you suck at the raid boss, you try again next week, not immediately again right now because we have to talk about it this week. It's like, oh no, well, this sucked, but I ruined my lockout or whatever the fuck actual rating is like. I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, I can wait till raid next week when we'll try it again. And if you're playing an RPG and you get to a thing like that, you're like, oh, that boss was really hard. Let me go and grind and do some stupid bullshit and just explore for a little bit and then go back and try it again later, like at a very leisurely pace. Then you'll probably enjoy it more. But
and that's true, but I also don't always have time to do that.
Yeah. Which is like, the podcast is good because you're like, oh, I have to finish it, so I'm going to actually commit to it. But it's bad because you're like, I would like to just hang out with this game and take my time over the next year or so. Yeah. But instead, I'm doing it over 13 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, let's... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, this is not gonna be like a regular thing for me to bail on hard games or whatever.
Yeah, and
I just need a little breaky break.
Yeah, and for the most part, we don't really have that many hard games we want to do, and I'm not having any trouble with this one. Like, I've done everything first try. I haven't even seen a game over screen yet. And Maddie says that it's really hard and she's been struggling, but I haven't had that that happened to me yet. And
maybe this is the game where we find out that, like,
that Maddie's actually bad. She's just played a lot.
Yeah, and like you're actually very good at very specific RPGs.
Yes. I'm good at games made by the people who made Legend of Dragoon, which are these two games and these two games only. But yeah, so let's listen to some more Nobuo Uematsu and probably cry. I think there's a sad one that happened this week that was really pretty. I don't know. If it's not, I'll cut that part out. And then we'll talk about our memorable moments. So, yeah, my memorable moment was at the Grand Staff, there's a stealth minigame that, like, doesn't work. It's not like the other stealth minigame that, like, has stuff going on. It's like, there's these two guards that are guarding this box that you can see there's, like, a ladder and a chest in there. And so, if you talk to both guards, they start to go on a patrol. And so then you have to sneak past them to go to the ladder, but there's two boxes in the way. So you have to move the boxes out of the way. And I kept getting caught by the guards, and they're just like, hey, get out of there. And so then I get to try it again. Mm-hmm. But the boxes, like, are persistent. So, like, I would move it, like, one square over, get caught, go in, move it another square, and just make tiny progress. And it took forever, and it was just my sheer force of, I think this is a thing that I can do, that got me through it. And it was very worth it. And I felt rewarded for the first time since I got rewarded in the same way as I did in Super Mario Odyssey for the first time in an RPG, where I'm like, I think this is a thing that I can do. I'm going to try and do it. And the devs are like, good on you for doing the thing. Here's the first weapon shop of the game. You're not supposed to buy weapons until Numara, but if you want to, and you want to do this stupid, annoying mini game, here you go. And I could buy weapons and stuff like that from it, which was really, really cool.
Awesome.
And when you show up to Grand Staff, Seth is talking to one of the guards, and she's like, wait, no one's contacted you? We're investigators sent by the council. I'm Seth. He's Kayam. You can ignore the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any others besides the guard and the queen cutscene that you already mentioned?
I just really like those cutscenes. I love Jansen.
Yeah.
He's such a lovable scoundrel. And he's just got so much personality. Yeah, I just really like that character a lot. I also like that he's a spellcaster.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, because like you see snarky rogues all the time, but snarky spellcasters don't seem to be done as frequently.
Because like usually spellcasting goes with intelligence, goes with like a studied thing. So all your spellcasters, even if they're like snarky, they're just wit nerds. Snarky, but they're nerds. Like every single good wizard, including Gandalf, is just a nerd. And
Jansen is a philandering dumbass.
And it's great.
I love it. It's just a very different take. And I find him to be a very fun character.
I hope he sticks around for the whole game because he's magnificent.
Yeah. I also really love Seth and her giant sword.
Yeah.
I do love me some ladies with giant swords.
Yeah. I love it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a super short week. I'm like running out of things to say at 38 minutes.
Well, okay. So I have something that I want to plug.
Go for it.
Yeah. Sometime later this year, probably in December. I haven't worked out all the details yet. I'm going to be doing an Extra Life stream. If you don't know what Extra Life is, you should listen to our live episodes that we did at Classic Games Fest. But in the event that you don't have time for that, Extra Life is a charity fundraiser where people pledge to do 24 hours of gaming in whatever form that may take, because you can actually do it like over a period of time if you want. But you raise funds for children's hospitals. So in my case, the last time I did it was 2016. For various reasons, I couldn't do it the last few years. But I've been wanting to do it again. So I'm going to be doing a 24-hour Hollow Knight stream. I'm not going to sleep. It's just going to be anyone watching and me playing a fuck ton of Hollow Knight and getting really tired and angry and having fun with little bugs. So I will provide more details on how to donate as soon as I've gotten all the logistics worked out. And I will also provide details on when it's happening. I haven't figured that out quite yet because of how my schedule is at work. Things are weird, and it's just going to be something that I have to get closer to that time to find out what I'm doing. But yeah, if you're interested at all in donating, please do. I'm going to be raising funds for the Dell Children's Hospital. So
which rules? Scarlett had to do an overnight at Dell Children's when she was like 3 days old, and it's a kick-ass kids hospital.
Yeah,
like we were in the 3-day-old wing, so we didn't get a lot of the cool stuff. But there's like so much like hospitals are scary, so instead we're going to make this a fun like kids museum where you happen to get poked with needles if you need to, and it's so cool.
Yeah, they're really, really good to the kids who go there. So it is a really good cause. I encourage everyone to check out Extra Life in general. If you have any interest in streaming or in, Let's Playing or anything like that. I mean, there's, and it doesn't have to be video games. There's people who play board games for it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll have more details to come as soon as possible. But yeah, I'm glad this actually gave me an opportunity to plug that.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to for a while, and I just kept forgetting.
Yeah, another thing to plug will be, as of right now, we are on track to record it tomorrow, so you should hear it within a week or two. But we have our first commissioned episode on Higurashi.
Our first sellout game.
Yay! Our first, like, truly sellout game, not just, like, we're playing the hits and being funny and calling Final Fantasy X a sellout game. Like, no. We bowed
actually
to
sold out for this.
We bowed out to the money, but it's bonkers. And so like Bernard was like vocally having issues with it, being like, "Oh, it's so boring and nothing matters." But here's the secret: everything matters. Everything is a clue. The way the game is set up is it's a whodunit mystery, but it's not the character in the game trying to figure out something that the other characters in the game did. It's you, the reader, having a battle of wits with the author to see if you can figure it out at certain points. And so like each chapter has a difficulty rating, which you're clicking buttons and reading text. None of it is actually hard, but the difficulty is, can you figure out what's going on? And so episode 1 has extreme difficulty, but is still doable. And so it's like all the times where you're like just playing the date of what seems like a dating sim, you're getting tiny clues, and it's awesome. So pay attention to that part. And it's not really a spoiler that it's not quite a normal dating sim, because the first scene is super creepy and like has like axe noises and stuff. So It's like, I'm not like spoiling it by saying, oh, there's a creepy twist, because like that's out on Front Street. That something isn't quite right. But yeah, so it's really awesome. Keep that in mind as you're going through it. It'll help you get through the like 5 different conversations about playing cards. So it's real good. I'm real excited to talk about it. It's so good that I'm not playing ahead, because I don't want to have spoilers in my knowledge when we talk about it, because like I want like the true, because like remember way back in Persona when we were like, who do you think this guy is, yada yada yada, we were trying to like gamify the we're all playing together sort of thing.
Oh yeah
we threw that by the wayside, mostly because I forgot until just now. But I really want to do that with Higurashi, where it's like we try and figure it out together and then complete the episode and see how wrong we were, because there are 8 of these, and I hear that they go completely off the walls. And so even what we think is right in episode 1 will not even be close to right by the time episode 8 is over. But
gotcha.
Thankfully, we're only on the hook for episode 1. So,
well, great.
Yeah, but yeah, I was trying to make this at least be an hour, but there's no way I can vamp for another 15 minutes.
I got nothing. I got like, there just wasn't a whole lot of cutscenes, and I mean, it's eventful, but it doesn't really feel like a whole lot to discuss.
Yeah, it's like all memorable moments now, in more than like how Undertale was all memorable moments. Like Undertale, things happened, and then things that happened around the things that were happening were memorable. Yeah, this one is like, no, like we're still walking to like the first dungeon. I mean, we just technically finished it, but like the first 2 episodes, we're literally walking to Grandstaff construction site, the first like monument. And we only finished that at the end of week 2. Like, it's moving glacially slow, but it's not a problem because like the world is so warm and you're liking all of the characters and everything.
Yeah,
and also it's of the time where you didn't have to have an explosion in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like RPG players were on board for like a 10-hour session for their first time.
For sure.
Always. But yeah, it's cozy, and according to Bernard, it will pick up and not stop from keep picking up by the next week. So
awesome.
Yeah. Even without Maddie, we managed to Homestuck and WoW and Undertale.
Yeah.
This episode.
We can get the references out ourselves. Right? We don't need Maddie's help.
We don't need it. That does remind me, speaking of Twin Peaks, we have a shitload of new Discord friends. Like,
yes.
Too many to fucking count Discord friends. Let me go to where I typed out the name. So this week we have been joined by also, I don't know if I called out the Ancient Omega when he joined. I think I did, because we talked about how
either.
Because I think we talked about on mic how he's basically a new me and Matt because he likes all of mine and Matt's things. But so if we haven't already shut out the Ancient Omega, we have the Ancient Omega, then we have Astracat, then we have he changed his name to Absolute Noob. I'm trying to see what his actual name is. Is Geek on the Wind is what his name is. So Geek on the Wind, and then this over the weekend we had Drops of Jupiter and Firewalk with Me, which is
M-I-I.
M-I-I, like it's so good. And then Arcata joined the same day that my dad did, which by the way was hilarious. My dad joined the Discord and I banned him immediately.
Oh,
no dads allowed.
Wow, really? How's that going to go over?
I messaged him on the side, and like, it's already blown over. It's no big deal. But he thought he was just messaging me directly. He didn't actually mean to join the Discord. He's an old person. He old person Facebook in the chat, and it was great.
Okay, fair.
But and then we also have a new Ko-Fi backer named Jeff, who said that he had just found our podcast because of. It was either Xenogears, Persona, or Legend of Dragoon, because that's all of the ones that always get us converted. I don't remember which one it was, but he's like, I found it, and I listened to it, and it's awesome. And I also just bought a copy of Cosmic Star Heroine, so I can play it along with you guys while I listen to that one, which I thought was cool. So shout-outs to Jeff.
Yeah, and to all of our new Discord friends. I had a hell of a time chatting with Firewalk with Me the other night. That was super fun. I am always very excited to talk Twin Peaks. So it was great when he came in, and like I didn't know, but then Sam pinged me and was like, "Look at their screen name." It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's real good. But
and in honor of this new Twin Peaks friend, I'm rewatching Twin Peaks.
Nice.
For like the 5th time.
Yeah, I accidentally started rewatching The Comeback last night, and I've seen both seasons like 4 times. I have like a list of things I'm trying to binge and get through. Like I want to finish all of Star Trek before Picard comes out, or at least all of the Picard adjacent Star Treks, so the 3 90s ones. I want to get those finished before Picard comes out. So I only have 3 months for all of that. And instead, I'm rewatching The Comeback because The Comeback is great, and The Comeback is like my Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I tend to like. There's new stuff I want to watch, but I tend to just default to, well, I already know that I love this, so I'm gonna watch this instead.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Cause like right now, although I'm working on Star Trek, the main thing I was watching was Dragon Ball Super, and I was watching it on a buddy's Plex server, but. His server went down for the week, and he's out on vacation. He's like, I'll fix it when I get back. So I have like a week where I can't do anything. And instead of clicking to Star Trek, which is on both my Plex server and Hulu and Amazon and Netflix and CBS All Access and all of these things that I have access to, saying, please just watch Star Trek, I watched The Comeback instead because... I'm
Because
nuts.
fuck it.
But yeah, shout outs to Lisa Kudrow. You're the real one. Best comedian of our generation. But yeah, I vamped us for 5 more minutes. That's all I could do. We're just gonna have to end less than an hour today, but
that's okay. It'll be a nice chill episode for everyone. You know, we talked about the story. It happened.
Yeah.
And there will be more story next time, and we'll probably have Maddie for Higurashi.
Yeah.
So there will be more stuff to say because she talks a lot more than I do.
Yeah, and it helps out that today was short because now, Eli, you have more of the day to go and talk to cute anime girls. Talk to cute anime girls and suspect all of them of murder.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah, that sounds like something I can totally get into.
Yeah.
I'm not super into dating sims. There's just a few that I like.
Yeah, this one is a fake dating sim. It seems like a dating sim the whole time, and that's the part where Bernard was like, I know this isn't a dating sim. I'm tired of talking to these people. But I'll tell you up front, it's not a dating sim. It's a murder mystery, which isn't that much of a... Like I said, it's not much of a spoiler because the first cutscene is a wonky one. But yeah, so all of the times that feel like dating sims, don't worry. You don't have to worry about dating any of them because they're all going to kill you.
Great. Excellent. I like this. I think it's good that it's like right in time for the sacred month of Halloween.
Yeah. Me and Summer are probably going to binge through the rest of the chapters after we finish talking about them because they're good. But yeah, that will do it for the week. You can check us out online at www.rpgbook.club, which has links to all of our social medias, a link to our Discord, and most importantly, a link to our Ko-Fi, where you can support what we do here and get early access to blog posts like our JRPG canon articles, and also vote on our next game, and or be like Francesco and bribe us to play your favorite game. And maybe it will also work like Francesco and bribe us into playing my future favorite game. But, yeah. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
And I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
Bye, folks.
Toodaloo.
I'm sorry, I'm eating and trying to talk at the same time.
No, you're fine.
I'm a horrible person.
Please, no. Yes, you're a horrible person for needing to sustain yourself. God.
Yeah. Only assholes keep themselves alive with food.